Hi everyone. So Sharon Statham here, and today I'm doing an experiment. I saw one of the other girls making these amazing cinnamon rolls in no time at all. So I always like to try things out before I really, promote them. So we're going to try this together today just for some fun. So this is going to be using quite a few Epicure products. So just want to bend this so you can see a bit better what I'm doing. So right now we're going to start to make the dough, and so what we're doing is we're combining all the ingredients until it's crumbly and setting aside for the filling. So let's do that first. I'm just going to pop 4 tablespoons of butter into the microwave to melt, and that'll just take a few seconds. So while that's melting, I've got 1 cup of brown sugar, and then I'm going to also add 3 teaspoons of Epicure cinnamon. This is a really good quality cinnamon, and one of the things I like about it is they actually come with those little shaker tops, so you can just sprinkle it right onto things. I'll do that on an apple and put a sprinkle of sweetener, like a little bit of organic cane sugar on there, and a little cinnamon on some apples, and then it's like a crustless apple pie once you cook it in the microwave for a couple minutes. And you can do that in a small rectangular steamer. But anyways, we're going to use it to make, obviously, cinnamon buns today. Other things you can do, you don't have to do just cinnamon. You can take any of our sweet dip mixes and add them in, or you could make chocolate ones, or with our chocolate truffle dip mix. So lots of options. So we're just waiting for that little bit of 4 tablespoons of butter to melt. I hear it beeping, so let's see if that's ready. And that's perfect. So I'm just going to take our little spatula and swizzle that around just to make sure the lumps are out. But that is definitely melted enough. So we're going to add into there our 1 cup of sugar. So this is almost like making, like graham crust or something, but it's going to be just a little meltier than that. And then, of course, we're going to add in our 3 teaspoons of cinnamon. 1, 2, and 3. Oh, I wish you guys could smell this. All right. So we're just going to mix this up until it's dried and crumbly, and then we're going to set it aside and make our dough. So this is going to blow you away how fast these are. This is a yeast-free cinnamon roll recipe. And there's quite a few of them floating around Facebook right now because everybody's home and baking a little bit more. So there you've got a really nice cinnamon paste. So I'll just put that aside, put the lid back on my delicious cinnamon. And then we're going to start mixing our dough together. So that is 2 cups of flour. And I'm putting it into my KitchenAid mixer because I'm fortunate enough to have one. Not everybody does. And then 2 tablespoons of sugar. I like using the organic cane sugar. So 2 tablespoons of sugar. 4 teaspoons of baking powder. And if you're lucky, you'll still have some of our Epicure baking powder. Otherwise, Magic baking powder is a good one too. So we're going to go 4 teaspoons of baking powder. 2, 3, and 4. And then we're going to do 1 teaspoon of salt. So I'm just going to eyeball it. So I'm just grinding some fresh sea salt into it. There we go. That'll be enough. Okay, and then what we're going to do, we're going to cut in some butter. So I'm just going to mix that flour and baking powder, etc. together. And then I'm going to add in 3 tablespoons of butter, and I'm going to cut that in. So you can either do this with a couple of knives, or you can get your hands right in there. I like to use an actual pastry blender because then my hands aren't getting all the way into it. So this is a pastry blender. We don't sell them anymore, but these are excellent for making like egg salad and all kinds of stuff. And it's just going to cut through and cut that butter nice and fine into that flour. So you can see what I'm doing in there. So you just keep moving it around and do your best to get rid of as many big chunks as you can. Pastry blenders, it was funny, I didn't even start using mine until I moved in with my husband, and he said, let's make egg salad. And I said, okay, we can do that. So I boiled up some eggs, and all of a sudden he went after my pastry blender, and it actually dices it perfectly for egg salad. And it's, you know, of course, for cutting in butter, that's what it's made for. There we go. So I'll just knock those few little bits of butter in because don't want to waste that. Butter is too good for that. There we go. So now, if you can see, we've got our butter cut in. And then we're going to add our milk in. And it's going to make a soft dough. So I'm just going to pop this into the mixer while we're carrying on with some of our other stuff here. There, so that's just mixing. So we've got our cinnamon ready, and we've got that ready. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get our microwavable multi-purpose steamer ready. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to take a quarter of this mixture, of the cinnamon mixture, and we're going to just sprinkle some of that into the bottom, just chunks broken up here and there, all over the bottom of the multi-purpose steamer. Yes, these are dishwasher and oven safe, and of course perfect for the microwave. So I'm just going to break this up and make sure that we can get little bits over the bottom of all of the cinnamon buns that are going to go in here. So that's just like that. So I've got a bunch of that in there. Just going to check my dough. And it's looking pretty good. So just so the dough is all mixed up. So what next do you say? I'm just going to give my hands a wipe there. So the next thing we want to do is we want to lightly flour a board. So I'm going to use the bacon roll mat today for that. You can do this on a cutting board, but I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of flour on there. It is non-stick, but it's just going to help it be that little bit more non-stick because I'll be rolling it. And there I've got my dough. I'll tell you, if you don't have a KitchenAid, ask for one for Christmas. They're brilliant. And I'll just turn it this way for myself. And I'm just going to flatten it down with my hand a little bit, because if you've ever made cinnamon rolls before, this is how you're going to get them into the roll. There we go. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit more flour than to do it over my rolling pin. All right. So then I'm just going to roll it out on my bacon roll, and this is also going to help me with my sizing as well. I got to be careful not to get it too wide, but you want to get it till it's about 1/4 of an inch thick. I'll tell you, the things I do to you for you guys, I'm sacrificing myself making these cinnamon buns. And I know I'm going to hear about it from my husband. What are we doing? Making more baking. We don't need that. So I'm going to say it's an experiment for you guys. Just going to put that together. So about 1/4 inch thick. I'm just going to push that together because some of it's splitting there. Because remember, this is a no yeast, so it does have elasticity in it, but not the same as a yeast dough. There we go. Just push that all together. Okay, so now what they want me to do is spread a bunch of this out. All right, so I love our little spatulas and spreading tools. They're perfect for all this kind of thing. See, this is taking no time at all, eh? Quick, easy baking. There we go. So now the one thing I like about the bacon roll is I can just take it like that and it'll start the roll for me. So you're just going to want to roll this nice and snug and tight. There we go. Now we're rolling. So now we've got our rolled up log, and that's just perfect. So the nice thing, we've got that all rolled up. I'm just going to grab one of my cutting mats. And I'm just going to move this onto a cutting mat because I don't want to cut on my bacon roll. So this is going to just go in the sink and it'll be clean in no time. And so you have way less mess on your counter space as well. Okay. Now I'm going to get one of my nice sharp ceramic knives. And you're going to want to make 12 rolls. So I just cut it into quarters. And then I get, they're all about 1 inch. Then we get nice even cinnamon rolls. Perfect. And I'm just going to set these on top of all that. See if you can see that there. I'm going to sit these just on top of all that lovely cinnamon mixture that's at the bottom of the steamer. Perfect little cinnamon rolls. And look at how nice that cuts. It's not all sliced through, it's not making a muck. It cuts through so nicely. There we go. I just gotta squeeze 2 more cinnamon rolls in here. There we go. So we've got all our cinnamon rolls in the bottom. And then we're going to take that last little bit that I reserved of the cinnamon mixture, and make sure you get some on top of those end pieces because they have a little bit less because they're out at the ends. And then you're just going to crumble this over the top because more is better. There we go. There. So when your family says, I want something sweet for a Sunday breakfast, or I need a sweet, I have a sweet tooth, I need something, you can just whip this up. So this is going to go not in the oven. This is going to go in the microwave for about 7.5 to 8 minutes. And it's going to go, I believe, with the lid on. Cover with lid and microwave for 7 minutes, it says. So there's the lid on. Don't forget, keep the steam holes away from you because you don't want all that steam burping out on you. There we go, 7 minutes. So while that's happening, I'm going to throw together a quick little glaze for them. Now, again, you could add, you could do our caramel sauce, our fudge sauce. We've got all kinds of Cocoa Crunch sprinkles. You could set up a little tray and bar with all the different little things like the Tutti Frutti Cocoa Crunch. You could put some crushed up pecans in a little bowl. You could have a whole thing with that. So now it's saying 1/4 of a cup of milk into 1/2 cup of icing sugar, and that's going to be for our glaze. But I'm going to do maybe a little bit less because I like a little bit of a thicker glaze, so I'm just going to sort of mix it in a little bit at a time here. Oop, I think that was a perfect amount, and that certainly wasn't 1/4 cup. So you can see you can make it a thicker glaze by adding less. If you do it about that consistency though, it's going to pour down in the cracks of the cinnamon buns. There we go. So I'm just going to put you on pause for 2 seconds while we finish up those rolls. They'll just be a minute. Okay, so we're back. And so this is one of the other tools I love from Epicure. These are our Cool Grippin' pads. And we've had them in various colors over the years and on and off. Of course, we've got the beautiful aubergine color now. So Cool Grippin' pad, this is amazing for picking up things that are hot. It makes a fantastic trivet, which is how I'm going to use it today, to sit on my counter to put the hot cinnamon buns on. And it's also perfect for opening jars. So there's always that pickle jar that's got a lid that's really, really tight. So anyways, today I'm going to use that Cool Grippin' pad as a trivet for our hot cinnamon buns that are ready in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm just going to pick up with a tea towel because, of course, as you know, our Epicure silicone steamers are fantastic, but you do have to be careful when you're picking them up after you've been cooking them for a while. Not so much that the silicone gets hot, but they're flexible, so you don't want that steam burping out at you. And there we go. And those are cooked. Nothing doughy about them. And there's lots of cinnamon sugar and butter on there. You can see that. Holy smokes. So what I'm going to do is just take one of my other little spatulas and I'm just going to do little cuts just in between the buns. You can see me doing that there. And it's just going to separate them a little bit just so that that fantastic glaze we're going to put on is going to drizzle down in. There we go. So now I'm just going to drizzle this over the top because I need more sugar in my life, right? Honest to God. These smell amazing. So can you imagine making these for the kids for when they get back to school eventually, and you'll be able to give them hot cinnamon buns for an after-school snack, and it's not going to take any time out of your day, or if the grandkids are coming to visit. There we go. Now, just let me grab a little plate and I'll pull one out so you can see how they look inside. And then of course I'll have to sacrifice and probably eat it. So I'll take the little, I think this is the little end piece. Oop, and they're still pretty hot. So ooey gooey, amazing cinnamon rolls in absolutely no time. And you can see the dough is cooked all the way through. Oh my God. Okay, I'll apologize now. You guys are going to hate me for this. Too quick, too good. Epicure cinnamon.